What's up, guys? It's Daph. I am back for a new episode of Eye to Eye. I'm very excited for this one, and I'm with Nicole today. Hi, how you
Hey,
doing?
hello.
Thank you for taking the time to speak with me today on a subject so dear to my heart and to yours too,
Yes.
spirituality. Spirituality. Let me start by just reading a quote out loud that really, for me, changed my whole perspective. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frighten us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You're a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightening about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. I'm actually so powerful and I'm scared of it. And I'm at that point where it just opened a door. So I think my journey started there. To me, it's important to underline that I don't see any limits or limitation into the religious part of it. But spirituality to me is life. You know what I mean? It's really the meaning of who are we here to become, who are we, asking those questions, wanting to be better, wanting to evolve, self-development.
Within us, we've got a true self, and it gets masked by stuff in the world. So, spirituality to me is reconnecting to that true self, which I think is connected to what you called source.
Mhm.
It's source in us. Yeah.
A part of like a part of the source in all of us, right?
Yes.
And we
Yes.
forgot about it.
Right. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah. We forgot about it, and we through various things, through that quote you just read, we push it down.
What do you think so?
Okay, so I'm going to read a quote. It's by Rumi. He has one book called the Masnavi. It's a very 6 volume poem he wrote. And the first paragraph really spoke to me. And so I'll read it now.
Hmm.
He says, listen to the reed, how it tells a tale, complaining of separations, saying, ever since I was parted from the reed's bed, my lament hath caused man and woman to moan. I want a bosom torn by severance, that I may unfold to such a one the pain of love desire. Everyone who is left far from his source wishes back to the time when it was united with it. What he's talking about, the reed bed, this flute here is made from bamboo. It's not the one he's talking about, but
Hmm.
he's talking about when reed, not this reed was separated from the source of the tree.
Hmm.
It's crying out to go back there, to be with it. So he's talking about when you play it, it's a wailing sound, like
Hmm.
it's a lament. And for me, that's what this is about. It's when we came into this world, we're separated from where I think we were with source.
Yeah.
We're in our hearts where there's a crying out to know that place again.
We chose the life, the person, the family that we are, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can't confirm
Yeah.
it
But I mean,
because,
what you believe.
but yeah, I mean, I believe similarly that we did. And, there's a whole body of work you could probably research about soul families, soul
Yeah.
groups,
Yes.
where they talk about we, as a group, we've come to evolve, and in different lifetimes, say you and I in another life could have been sisters or something,
Yeah.
and you change roles because there's different things to learn. So when you sort of, if that's sort of like a belief system you carry on, you believe in, you can look at things with a bit more hope. So, someone in your life who's aggravating you or causing some angst in you, you can see as a gift almost,
Hmm.
because they're bringing up within you something you came here to learn. you know. And Marianne Williamson, you spoke of her earlier, and she was really fond in my heart. I've seen her talk live many times. She talks about our family, our immediate family, being our biggest people we learn from.
Yes.
And they're people that really don't go out of our lives. Like, even if we're estranged, they're the people that we can learn the greatest lessons from, get the greatest evolvement from. But they cause us the greatest pain at times.
What made you understand that you wanted to look deeper?
The pain,
Mm.
that pain in my heart, just a deep, deep sorrow, pain in the heart that caused me to sort of seek deeper, ask more questions. And another point, I guess, just a dissatisfaction with material life.
Yes.
You know, like looking around. I remember one of my corporate jobs, just sort of going to, just going on the treadmill kind of thing, and
Yeah.
sitting at my desk. I got to a point that I would just cry walking into work because I just felt such like apathy, nothing, and it was, I guess, that kind of thing. That kind of thing is like, I'm sure we didn't come here for this.
Yeah.
There's got to be something deeper to it,
Yeah. Yeah.
some bigger purpose. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You went on this journey on your own of rediscovering after the pain. Where did you went to research, or where did you stumble upon books or?
Yeah.
or
Yeah. Yeah. Good question. Yeah. A friend. It's really funny. A friend similar was going through a similar path. And she's German, and so she sent me a book, and it was called The Celestine Prophecy. And he talks about it was a really easy inroads for me into spirituality, because he talks about synchronicities. It's like a little story of how he himself went into, I think, the Peruvian jungle to find something, and he just on the way meet these other people that had keys to his path. And that kind of rang true for me, just about synchronicities and people being there at the right time to say something that would then send me off on another path. Probably one of the biggest shifts was when I went to India. My grandfather had died. This is probably, it's funny how things come up when you sit and talk about it. Yeah, my grandfather had died, and I was there when he died, and he took his last breath, and the whole family was around him. And I just remember a shift happened, and the family were like over the body, like touching the body, crying, whatever they were doing. And I sort of felt like I stood back, and it's going to sound bizarre, in the corner of the room at the top, I was thinking, he's there. Like,
Yeah.
why are you all worried with the body? Like, he's not even there anymore. That's not him. He's like up there. Anyway, because of that, I started to explore a bit further what death is. And I went to India, and there's a town in India called Varanasi, where it's meant to be for Hindus the place you go to die, because you achieve moksha, liberation from this world. Mm-hmm. So many of the aim is to go there and die in that city. And there's what's called the Ghats, and it's a fire that's been burning for many thousands of years. So you bring the body there, and you burn the body there. And this chanting. And I think I went there, and for 2 weeks every day I'd just go and sit at these ghats and watch the bodies burn, and watch the families, and watch the singing, and just take it all in. We live in a world we forget that we're going to die. And it sounds morbid, but it's so important, because to remember that will affect the way you live.
Death was also a big, big, big part of my life, because I lost a sister. She was born before me, right? And she died as a baby, and I felt the replacement child. And then I always felt like I was, not in tune, not in my place, because I'm replacing her. So death was a big part of me, anxiety with death. And thank you for bringing that up, because it's something also I feel as a society that we don't want to deal with it. We don't want to deal with it. We don't want to go through that. We want to avoid it. We want to forget it, as you said. And when this happens, we're completely lost. And we completely, like, our life falls apart, and we don't know what to do. And that, even for the person that passes away, he needs that support and energy, to go through the light. And I feel like we need to understand, and we need to, through spirituality, you can really be sure as your own belief that there is something after. We are gonna, we are, they here, they come back. And that's what you learned from India too? Or what was your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess a couple things. One, that death is an equalizer, right? Like, we're all going to die. So, no, like money, wealth, fame, whatever, it doesn't matter. We're all equal. That's it. And that was, not that I didn't realize that before, but it just really cements it. And two, this body is not all I am. What I said when I saw my grandfather die, there's a presence, an essence of him that still was there. And that, knowing that when there's more to just our body, which means, and I think the pain with death comes from, it comes from attachment to the world.
Yes.
It comes from the idea that, oh my gosh, whoever I am, won't exist anymore. And that's so scary for many. I mean, not everybody. Perhaps pain and ideas of pain and maybe part of it. But essentially, deep down, I think that the fear is whoever I am, won't exist. What does that mean?
I've watched a documentary. He's like a French motivational speaker. And he said that stick to me. He said, if a close family member dies, we're devastated because we're at the point where that person was taking out, let's say, this part inside of me. He had this part inside of me, right? So now that he's gone, this is empty. This part is empty. So it was more so I'm going to miss. I'm missing, or I'm feeling the emptiness of that part that left. He lost his father at the time, and he said that when I realized that I was able to fill that up myself.
Wow.
And it was like, it changed the game for me. It was like,
Yeah.
you're lacking the spot that person was taking for you. But once you fill that up, then you can have a different relationship or perspective on that. And it's really powerful. You're doing you're healing people through the sound and meditation, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's it.
Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I do what's called sound meditation, and I like to sort of clarify. No one can heal you. The only person that can heal you is you.
You're right. Yes.
So it's a good thing for everyone to know, because it speaks to that Marianne Williamson quote you read.
Yes.
You've got, you're powerful beyond measure. What's in you, you've got it in you. So in many religions, they say that the Big Bang was a sound. From nothingness became sound. And then from whence from where all became Om. And that is meant to be the sound that caused creation. Yes. So.
Wow, it's actually powerful.
Yes.
Inside the belly, you hear the heart, right?
Yes. Yes.
The rhythm of the heart. And it's like live. Yes. Wow. So basically you playing the I don't know what's called the instrument. It's like a bowl. It's a Chinese bowl.
These bowls. So yeah, this is called I'm going to say Himalayan bowl, because sometimes they're called Tibetan, but they're Himalayan because they come from the mountain ranges, the Himalayas. So yeah, they've been around for, thousands and thousands of years, but there's not a lot of information about why and how they came about.
Okay.
There's many theories. Yeah, they were used to use to eat from this and that. Yeah. But and nowadays anyway, they're used to help put people in a meditative state. We are a bundle of vibrations, so dense that it creates what looks like a physical thing. But actually we're vibrating particles. We just can't see that. So when we play vibrations, our body attunes to it, and it starts to attune, and it can relax us. It sets in our body a relaxation response.
So the also people are coming to you. So you're you're showing maybe the door, let's say that you're the
Sure.
door shower, and
Yeah.
they're coming to you for a specific reason of trying to heal something that they feel is wrong, or they're coming to maybe just relax, or what's the intention? Are you kind of open to that, to anything?
Yeah. Well, mainly I work in classes. So I'll lead a class, a group class. And you're right, what you just said. It's a really good entry level in because it's gentle and it's like not confronting per se.
Mm-hmm.
You come into the class. I have various instruments, not just the bowls, and someone will come. They'll come in. You either sit or lie down, and it's say an hour experience of listening to these sounds. What inevitably happens is you get taken off into a sort of what we call an altered conscious state of consciousness.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So the ideal point is it's called a hypnagogic state, which is the state where the mind the brain waves are between falling asleep and waking up, or between waking up for being asleep and waking up. There's this state where it's very dreamy, and it's most relaxing, most therapeutically nourishing.
Where you can actually receive,
Yeah.
I suppose you healed through that also for yourself? A little bit
Yeah,
of
good
mix of
question.
everything.
Yeah, I think a mix of everything. Because I've got to be careful too. I realized just in my own healing journey, people ask that question, right? Well, but about what was it? But you have to be careful because that's a Western sort of idea to want to minimize everything down to one thing.
Yes.
So that we say, this is what healed me. I'll go do that, and I'll be no. There's layers, there's levels, and they all working through each other all at the same time.
Yes.
So there's many aspects
Mm-hmm.
that all filter in, not just one. But music in general was one that did help me. Yeah, and that's what led to the sound meditation, was just Western music. Just listening to certain Western music and realizing, oh wow, I listen to this because I want this kind of mood, or just simple stuff.
What first step would you say is important in that path of spirituality or self-development?
I think just asking the question,
Yeah.
and being okay with not having an answer, like just asking questions, being curious. But it starts with being okay to just sit and do nothing. Just sit. I think, I know meditation nowadays is something huge. And we're all told to meditate, and, there's scientific studies now backing it up. But it can seem overwhelming.
Yes.
So I work in a hospital and I offer spiritual care in a hospital. And, if I mention meditation to some of my patients, I can see they're just like scared, like, I can't do that. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
I just can't meditate. No, everybody can, but it's just being curious, sit for 1 minute, 30 seconds, and just observe, or use an anchor, your breath, use the breath as an anchor, what we call an anchor. Use the sounds, explore. I mean, nowadays we're lucky, there's so many apps, so many YouTube videos. Just explore, what's right for you may not be right for me, and it's learning to tune that inner intuition, that inner voice, and sort of keep going, be gentle, because the negative self-talk is real. We want to talk. Yeah, that's probably the worst enemy, that it wants to tell us, no, stop, you're bad at this, you'll never get it.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? It's too hard. You really think there's something other than this world? No, like it really wants to scream loud. But yeah,
it's important also for me to just bring everything to yourself. But everything, I feel like it's daring to really take responsibility of what's going in your life in all aspect of it, in relationship, in every, like, you create by vibrating, you create everything that's going on in your life. And when you see that, you're like, but why am I hurting myself? Why am I hurting myself? And it's those moments when it clicks and it like, I can just be happy if I want to be happy, I could just switch and be happy. What do you feel also about karma?
Mm.
What's your
Yeah.
vision on karma?
There is this idea of transgenerational healing that's required. Yes, so it gets passed through these soul groups that we talked about earlier, or through our families generally, our
Yeah.
actual biological families. Yes, and so you'll find, maybe your great grandmother had the same trait as you, because perhaps she didn't heal it, so you've got it now.
I don't know if you experienced that too, but once I feel like I'm like trying to heal something, or for me, it affects my family, and you can see changes in them, and you can see changes in them once I'm healing myself.
Yes.
And that's the connection is very powerful. It's beautiful to be able to be conscious of that, and do it to really heal, and to for the next generation, for the family, and it becomes something really pure. It brings me to my next question with the mission.
I feel like the mission is to know ourselves. It's simple. The mission is to just know our true nature, and that's it.
To remember it.
Yeah.
I feel like we agreed to come on earth and forget who we are. That's at that point where it's really like we forget that we are powerful beyond measure, that we can do anything we want. Sometimes I'm looking up in the stars and I'm like, really, Daph? Really? And especially when you get that yeah, it becomes way more than just you. Let's stop fighting ourselves, and just understand that, loving me is loving you, helping me is helping you. And when I say you, is everybody. If you hurt somebody, you're hurting yourself.
In many paths, they talk about that idea of how can you know happiness if you don't know sadness? How can you know joy if you don't know pain? Like once we're in a physical body, sort of that's our way to experience all those range of.
Yes, it's the same coin. It's the same coin, just the reverse. And when you're going through like the worst fear, I always like to just look at the opposite. What's the opposite of it?
Right, lovely.
Oh, you focus on that, or that's what's scaring you, or that's just always connected.
Yeah, I think too. The other thing I guess is we want to, if we're experiencing pain, we want to be out of pain. If we're experiencing sadness, we want to be out of sadness. And that's something to be mindful of too, is if you are experiencing sadness, it's okay to experience sadness. We don't have to push it away. It's uncomfortable, but let it release.
If I'm not accepting my fears, my darkest side of me, I cannot accept the bright ones. That's what true love is for me, true acceptance.
I've got a story, it's by also, it's a Sufi mystic. I don't know if you know about Sufism, but anyway, you can, yes. So his name's Mullah Nasruddin, and he's quite funny. So the story is he lost his keys, his house keys, right? Or he lost his keys, let's say, and he was outside in the light. It was dark time. It was night. He was outside in the light, in the street light, looking for his keys, and all the people in the neighborhood were coming asking, Mullah, what's happening? What have you lost? And he said, I lost my keys. So everyone's looking out in the lights out there in the light lit street. And one man asked him, Mullah, like, where did you lose them? Like, where do you think you lost them? And he said, in the house. I lost them in the house. And then he said, well, why are we looking out here? And he said, because it's bright out here. There's light here. And it speaks to that idea that we want to only look in the light. What he lost is in the darkness, but we don't want to look there. It's too hard. It's many spiritual paths, isn't it? I mean, the idea of the yin and the yang, the black and the white, And then in each, there's that small dot of the opposite, because in the black, there's the dot of the white, because that's what leads you to the,
I can't love myself if I don't look into my eyes in the mirror and say that I am this too. And you can accept yourself, and it's a lot. It's a lot.
It is. It's hard. And I think too, there's this idea that spirituality is all like bliss. And no,
No.
spirituality is hard work, because you got to do what you just said. You got to look at our shadow side. Well, Carl Jung, psychologist, spoke about the shadow, the dark. You got to look at these dark sides of us, not to get angry at ourselves, to no, just to find acceptance. Because look, if I can't accept the negative, let's say, I don't want to say negative, let's say dark, just use the word dark. If I can't accept the dark parts of myself, how can I really love you? Like, I actually can't.
You know, we're at that point where we're like, yes, stuck to the idea of being perfect. What's perfect, or what's successful? It's you defining that on your own terms. You cannot let society or government or even your parents, not to disrespect, but that's your path. You know, that's their path, their idea, or everybody's idea, and your definition of it might be different that mine. And understand that I feel in a society that want to make us forget who we are more. I feel want to make us all the same, want to make us forget how powerful we are, because we wouldn't need that. You know, we wouldn't need all of this. Well, how do you feel about the law of attraction? What's your idea of that?
We attract whatever situations, events, people, circumstances to ourselves that we need, because that's what's going to help us grow. So can I read this poem?
Sure.
It's not that long. It's by Rumi. So it's called The Guest House, and he says this being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still treat each guest honourably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond.
Ooh, preach to
Yeah.
that.
So, look, I went down a path for a little while about this idea of manifestation and I'm sure it works for a lot of people, right? And I do believe, it speaks to that Marianne Williamson quote, we are powerful beyond measure, and we can create what we want. But again, I don't think it's as black and white as we want it to be. I don't think thinking, and, you hear stories of people writing lists of checks to themselves. I think Jim Carrey was one famous person who did that, wrote $1 million check to himself and dated it, and then actually came true.
Yeah.
So it can happen, but again, it's like I said, levels and layers, and everything's intertwined, because I'm sure for every one person that had it that clear cut, there is like 100 that it didn't work out that straightforwardly. I just think, look, for me, that kind of path didn't resonate in the end. So I think that's what we're talking about earlier, is finding what resonates for you, what's working for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think the important is also, now that detaching from it, is to let go.
Right. Yeah, true.
Go. Yeah. Trust and let go. Trust the universe. Trust that you're capable of it. Trust that you're gonna attract to it. And it's almost like you're trying to control it. And control this from the ego, control this from and you're just actually blocking yourself,
Right.
You're controlling your mindness.
It's this poem that I just read, The Guest House. It's that idea that, you're right. We're not in control, because we can set. We know. It's what they say. You set a plan up, like a simple plan. Let's say I'll wake up at this time. I'll do this, this, and that. And then we all know there are times when everything gets in the way that doesn't happen. And on the flip side, some wonderful things can happen in your life that you didn't plan for or were out of your control. And who. I don't, we can't, there's no explanation.
Yeah.
So we do the best. You're 100% what you said. We do the best we can, and we let go, because the outcomes out of our hands. We can't control that.
It's important though, because I feel like the more you want to control is, I feel like the more you're scared,
Yeah.
You're more scared of it. You don't trust yourself and the life and universe.
We're perfect now.
Yes.
We're perfect exactly now how we are, because that's how we were meant to be at this point in time. Finish, end of story, But we want perfection to be like a fixed point that I've got to reach. So
Yes.
But when you can accept that you're perfect now in all your perceived flaws, it's such a weight gone from your chest. You can breathe again.
Yes, and it's the same with, like, actually you can put perfection / happiness to me.
Yeah.
Because we're all like running to be happy, but you forget to be happy because this is happiness. We are happy now. You don't need, it's almost like you need to do all these things to be happy. And then what, No, we're happy now at the second right now, just talking, being alive, breathing, feeling, hearing, having that conversation, and that hearing your heart or feeling that love. This is happiness. The whole journey is happiness. We forget to listen to ourselves, to be like, what is happiness to me? What do I need to be happy? What's happiness? I don't need to listen to you or get that TV or get that thing, and just to stop a second and just, what's happiness to me? Even write it down. What's happiness to me?
Draw, paint, whatever. You don't
Yes.
have to use words even. It could be an image. Happiness could be a yellow light. I don't know. But another thing that was coming to mind, though, about the law of attraction is just this idea of surrounding yourself with those people that you admire, want to be like. It's a simple thing, but that helps shift, I think, your own vibration. If you're surrounded by people that really, you look around and you think, they're not inspiring me. I don't feel happy. Like, I don't feel inner joy. Or
And it's okay to say no. It's okay to detach yourself. That too, without the feeling of guilt, to really.
It's almost a responsibility to your own soul to say no.
The way you treat, or the way you are with your best friend, or somebody you really love, and you're like, imagine me being that for myself. Why am I like that for me? Am I not deserving that love? Thank you so much for your time. It was great.
It was good. Thank you. I think it's just like, even conversations like these, starting with other people is a good step forward. Asking questions. What do you think? I mentioned asking your friend, what actually, makes you happy? Just starting conversations.
Planting seeds.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for taking the time. I feel so moved. It was a great energy. Thank you so much, Nicole, for your time, and I wish you the best. And bye-bye, guys. See you soon. Bye. Thank you guys for watching the video until the end, and don't forget to subscribe with the red button somewhere here. Thank you for the support.